Well, the United States Supreme Court has just taken up a rather interesting case that may interest you. Here's the situation. A gentleman down in Texas, his name is Ali Hamani, was busted by police. They found him in possession of a handgun, and he admitted that he was a smoker. That means marijuana, in case you don't know. Well, anyway, the police said, okay, you're not allowed to have a gun because you're a drug user. And Mr. Romani is saying, wait a minute, Supreme Court said otherwise. There is an interesting case, folks, that may affect everybody in the United States in one way or another. Because according to the Justice Department, 20% of Americans have smoked pot or are smoking pot, whatever that means. Now, according to the current law, in some ways, but it depends on the federal government, if you're in a possession of a handgun and you're a drug user, well, you're not allowed to have a handgun, and essentially it's a felony. Because you're a drug user, you can't have a gun. Well, the problem is a number of states around the United States, I don't know how many exactly, have decided to legalize recreational use of marijuana. Other states have use of marijuana for medical situations, but they still use marijuana, but they say is legally. Now, federal law still says that marijuana is a Class 1 drug, and has been that way for a rather long period of time. But the Supreme Court in 2022 said everybody can open carry constitutionally. It's a Second Amendment deal. So Mr. Amani is saying, wait a minute, Supreme Court says I'm allowed to open carry. But the other laws say, well, if you've got a gun and you're smoking dope or whatever you're doing as far as drug-wise goes, that you've committed a felony because you are a dope user, a narcotics user, if you will, in the possession of a firearm. That has created a very interesting case. Well, now that case has been accepted by the United States Supreme Court. Now, the arguments we heard probably earn early 2026, and my guess is they will have a decision around probably in the summer sometime. But it does create an interesting situation. Many states out there say, hey, we're legalizing marijuana, although it's still a federal offense. They just kind of going against the federal law and they don't enforce it. But the feds say, hey, you got a gun, possession of a gun, you're using dope, that's a felony. There's the rub. Two different versions of the same law. So what's going to happen? Right now, nobody knows because the situation is kind of difficult. But I should point out that it could be changed by the feds, but they're still working on that 2022 ruling that said open carry. It's legitimate. Everybody has a right to do that if that's what they want to do. It isn't whether you're using drugs or not. And there is the rub. So what will the Supreme Court do? Right now, it's everybody's guess. In the meantime, if you're one of those people, I suggest you be very, very careful.